Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Palm Desert's nice little video. I'm Reverend William Conway, and today I'd like to talk to you about Spirituality 101. You've actually found this website. I'm sure you're looking for the answer to that question, and we're going to explore that today. But first, let's just set the tone for today and just allow yourself to go into that peaceful space. And allow yourself just to relax into this moment as I begin our invocation. And this is what I know. There's one thing happening right here and right now. And that is the perfect unfoldment of life. That spirit, the universe, whatever you want to call it, it just is. And it knows how to be. And I recognize my connection with that one source, that one power, the universe, spirit. And in recognizing that connection, that oneness, I know that this forum unfolds perfectly. Questions and answers are happening. Banter back and forth. The expansion of consciousness, the questions of why. We're going to explore those right now. And it is with great gratitude and peace that I understand and I know that life unfolds perfectly. And in that gratitude, I release my word knowing it is perfectly done right here and right now. And together we say, and so it is. Well, again, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me on my maiden voyage, my solo flight. I think I should get some little wings from Dr. Joe or Carly and just have little wings like I used to when I was 9 years old and I'd fly to go see my dad. You remember those type of little wings? God, when you could actually go to the airport and wave goodbye at the terminal. Those days are past, but so be it. It's just a new expression of life. So today, let us explore spirituality on a basic level. Let's find out the answers to what life is all about, knowing that each life is individual. Realistically, there's no right or wrong answer per se. It's just the unfoldment of spirit, always expanding upon itself. And it's your connection with that divine ideal, the universe, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it. It just is. So I'd like to ask you this question, and I'd like everyone to be a participant in today's show. I don't want to just talk to you and just have you sit back sipping on your latte or your cappuccino or your water. I want you to be interactive. So I'd like for you to type in the word yes. Can you be an active participant with me today? Can we create this space right here and right now so that you, and not only you, but others who may watch this in the future, can get insights onto their path and their spiritual journey? Can I get you to type a yes for me? Or better yet, can I get an amen? All right. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, so when you hear the word spirituality or spiritual, what do you think of? Please type in the comments what your answer is. And as you're doing that, let me let you know that I'm broadcasting from the Center for Spiritual Living in Palm Desert, California. And if you don't know where that is, if you've ever heard of Coachella Fest or Stagecoach, we're in that same Coachella Valley. In fact, actually, Palm Desert is smack dab pretty much in the center of the valley. And so if you're ever in Southern California and you have to visit and you want to visit this lovely valley of ours, please, I invite you to come to our center and see what we're about and listen to the wonderful reverends that we have here. Not only myself, but Reverend Charles and Dr. Joe and Dr. Laura. Everyone has such great insights to help you on your spiritual journey, your spiritual path. So, when you think of being spiritual, first thing that pops into my mind is, how does one dress? You know, sometimes I see people walking down the the street and they're wearing that feathery looking Bali style wear. And I'm thinking, is that what it means to be spiritual? Or maybe it's prayer beads, something that you hold on to, like rosaries. Maybe that's being spiritual. For others, maybe it's a man bun. I couldn't pull that off. A man bun. Go figure. Or maybe it's growing a beard. It seems like somebody who's growing a beard always seems to be a little bit more spiritual, a little bit more connected to nature. Or maybe it's just being woo-woo. That's a funny word, woo-woo. But all those can be yes, but that's not what spirituality is. Spirituality is a connection of oneself with your surroundings. And as you do so, I have a question for you. What got you started on this spiritual path? What set forth that need for that journey to be asking questions about, is there more to life? So if you could, please jot down something that may have popped into your head. That question, is there something missing in my life? Maybe I'm unsure. A lot of times our thought patterns are created when we're a child. When we look to our adults and our parents to give us guidance and answers. And maybe there's a belief system about yourself, about the way life unfolds based upon those interactions or that information from your elders. Or perhaps maybe there's a sadness, and maybe you're looking for happiness. Maybe there's a loss in your life. Who knows? But the question and the answer are the same. There is a need, there is a drive, there is a yearning within yourself that wants to know more. And it is that internal drive that creates that natural urge within oneself to ask the questions. And they're not easy questions. They may seem easy, but they're not. And so again, as we're on that spiritual path, trying to find out what is it all about, we see people dressing and acting a certain way. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're any more spiritual than you are. And what I'd like to talk to you today about is your own individual path. It's great to get insights and knowledge from seeing other people being what you think to be is spiritual, but that's not the end-all be-all of spirituality. And so I want to be here to talk to you today about what is your path, to give you the courage to express your spirituality. Sure, get insights from around the world, what you see on YouTube, what you see with your friends, what you see on the media, what you see your favorite pop star wearing. Fine, take input from that. But just like cooking, everyone gets the same spices, but it's your way of cooking your life that creates your spirituality. And I want to give you right now permission to own that you don't have to be like everyone else and their expression of their spirituality. I want you to have the courage to express spirituality how you do. Because I know that how I express my spirituality is far different from what everybody else does. And that's okay, and I love that about me. Some people it resonates with, others it doesn't, but it's okay. Because if we were all the same, we would all be doing exactly the same thing. but there is an infinite amount of people on here, and there's an infinite amount of things to be doing on this planet while we are alive, just like the grains of sands on the beach. No two are exactly alike. So, spirituality. I've been told that it's important. You know, if you're not spiritual, you're not complete. But coming from a space where you don't really know what that is, what does that mean? That's talking another language. It doesn't make any sense. You know, sometimes you may have thought that spirituality is just being religious, part of an organized religion. That's part of it, but that's not it. Some people think it's a script, that when you go on Saturday or Sunday or every time at noon you bow to the east, that doing these rituals is what spirituality is all about. And for me personally, I'm here to tell you that no, that is not what spirituality is. Yes, they are all a part of being spiritual, but again, that is just a fraction of what it is to be connected to all. And what I'd like to help you and share with you today is how to be deeper than that. So regardless of your religious background today, it doesn't matter. I like to refer to spirit, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, Allah, as a huge mountain. Let's just say it's Mount Everest, that big, huge mountain. But to get to the top of that peak, that pinnacle of spirituality, there is no one path. There is an infinite amount of ways upon which one can climb that mountain. And so your spiritual path is yours alone. Now, you may have people come into your life and go out of your life who help you on your spiritual journey. And I hope that I am one to help you today. But again, your spiritual path is yours alone. And I would like to give you the permission to be yourself. And can I get a yes again in the comments? I appreciate all your comments. So let's go on to the next one. So spirituality is not an act. And what I mean by that, it's not being a ritual upon what you do when you go to church or to the synagogue on whatever day it is that you worship. It's not just that. It truly is an inside job. Being spiritual is wonderful. Being religious is wonderful. It's not one or the other. Spirituality is like the salt and pepper on your steak. Whatever cut of steak that you like or you want, the salt and pepper just adds flavor to that. And that is the beauty about being spiritual, is that you don't have to forget where you came from. You can just allow it to be incorporated into where you are right now and allow it to take you farther than what you thought possible. So to reach this consciousness that I was referring to earlier, I'd like to see, could any of you maybe write a comment of what you do to feel more connected with yourself or with the planet? Is there anything that you do to help you feel more connected? And as you do that, what I'd like to know, has there been a time when you were aware of the life around you? Can you give me an idea? Well, to help you, what I do is when I take my beautiful, wonderful dog for a walk, that is a time of being out in the morning as my day begins, and I get to think about what needs to happen and what I need to do. But it's nice and quiet. And I get to close my eyes and I just hear the sounds of birds chirping, of maybe dogs barking off in the foreground. But whatever it is that you do to get you started upon your day, that is a great start. That is a wonderful place to be, because at that moment, you and the universe are connected. And that's ultimately all we ever are, is connected. The difference is your awareness to that connection. Sometimes we get busy with our day and we're worried about the to-do list that we have to do, or what the boss wants, or maybe you're the boss and you've got to worry about what all these people underneath you are doing or aren't doing. And so you're in that rat race. But when you can just step back for a moment and realize that everything that is unfolding perfectly, and it's your awareness of your connection with all life, with everyone, that even in the most strenuous of times, you will find that your spirituality can help maintain a sense of calm, a sense of awareness. Now, in Western religions, that feeling of connectedness, they often refer to it as God. And in the Eastern traditions, they talk about it as being universal. So what I would like for you to do now is don't get caught up with the terms that I use for it. And when I say it, I'm talking about the universal power, the energy, universe, God, all. It doesn't matter what you call it. It is the same thing. It is just your understanding and from your background and upbringing of what you call that power. And so when it comes to spirituality in your search for it, ultimately, with everything said and done, you are the only one standing in your way of that connection. And when you can realize that and understand that the universe and spirituality is within inside you, it is not something that you wear. It is not how you dress. It's not the makeup that you put on. It's not the color that you put in your hair. It's not the shape of the beads that you may have around your wrist or around your neck. It is the idea of connecting with life. And it is that connection that allows you to expand your consciousness and uplift that spiritual essence that is the true heart of yourself. Because it is consciousness, there is no difference between a spiritual life and everyday life. I often find that people need to make a shrine in a corner in their bedroom or in the living room, or have a space to where that's where I'm spiritual. I'm here to tell you that that is all well and good, but that is not the end all be all. Every moment of your life, you are living a spiritual life. And when you understand that, it puts a big responsibility on you. Now, can you understand that your life is already a spiritual life? So the idea of searching outside yourself, like the beginning question, Spirituality 101. It is not an outside job. It is an inside job. And so as you come to realize that and live from that standpoint, you'll find that your spiritual path becomes a lot more open, a lot easier. You'll find that relationships may improve and do improve. But there's also activities, ones that people do to get them into that space. And some of the things that people do may be yoga or Tai Chi. some of those Eastern influences that allow you to focus on a very finite movement. And what that really is doing is, instead of allowing your mind to meander or worry about everything underneath the sun, it allows you to focus on just one aspect. And when you can quiet your mind and focus on one thing, that allows the connection between yourself and the universe to really take place, to grow, to expand the freeway, just like they are doing on the 10 freeway from Coachella Valley all the way to Los Angeles. They're expanding the lanes. That's what you're doing when you can quiet your mind and realize the connection that you have with the universe that you always had. Now you're conscious of it. So what I'd like to know is, what are you passionate about? What gets you going? What gets you motivated to find out about your spiritual path? Take a few moments and write down a comment for me, please. Thank you so very much. All right, so now that we understand that it's an inside job, you need to become present in your everyday life, like I referred to back a little while ago, where I walk my dog in the morning and I feel a nice connection. It's a great way to get going. But spirituality can be found in the most mundane tasks that we do, like doing dishes. You might be looking at me going, what the heck do you mean washing dishes can be spiritual? Well, give me a moment. Whereas you're cleaning your dishes and you're thinking again about everything underneath the sun, and I've got to get these dishes done before I go to bed, or I don't like clutter. Well, when you just allow yourself to be in that space of just, okay, you're washing dishes, but allow universal thoughts to come into your mind, to expand to that creative side of yourself, to allow that time of doing something that's relatively mundane, which doesn't take a lot of brain power to do. Well, guess what? That is the perfect opportunity to allow your mind to expand, to go to places that you've never allowed to go before. So in doing these mundane activities throughout the day, make it a point to make it a spiritual connection for yourself. And you will find that when you can do that, those mundane tasks become less of a drudgery on your life. And when that happens, everything rises up. Do you see how it's all connected and can be when you look at it from a standpoint of everything is connected? There's not being spiritual and not being spiritual. We are always spiritual. It's just your awareness of where you are on, as Dr. Joe says, that tether, that line from not being to being. Where are you on that line, and where do you connect? When you can understand that, you can then change the course of your thoughts. And by changing the course of your thoughts, you change the course of your life. Now, some of you may be thinking about, well, my past. I'm this way because. And that's true to an extent. But let me give you some food for thought. That the past is the past, and that can't be changed. But how you view the past can change. And by changing the way that you view the past, you then can change your standpoint about your point in this life. Various things can be holding you back, such as fear or anger. Any one of those limiting beliefs that keep you in a box, that you've been told that you are only this big, or a glass of water. I'm only this big, and I can only hold this much water. That's not true. Your glass is only limited by your belief about yourself. And that is also part of the spiritual journey. Spirituality 101 is ask questions. Why do I believe something about myself? Where did that belief come from? Because it's in your belief about something that the reality is then created. At Center for Spiritual Living in Palm Desert, we talk about your mind being the active ingredient that creates your life. And part of this class and the things that we do every day at 10 o'clock is to help you change your thought patterns. And by allowing us to help you change those thought patterns, you are then automatically changing the trajectory of your life. We are helping you find passion where you thought there was none. So let me encourage you to do this. Right now, as you're thinking about your past, you may be carrying baggage, just like you're going on a train or a plane, or heck, loading up the car to go see a friend or do a cross-country trip. A trip to where you have no idea where you're going. But you're loading up all this baggage. And when you do so, you have no room in the vehicle, which is your mind, to give you room to expand, to see the universe, to see the scenery, to see the beauty around you, because it's so cluttered up with the luggage that you've been carrying around since you were knee-high to a stump. So I encourage you today, right now, to let go of that baggage. Forget what you believe about yourself based upon what you may have been told. It may have been something like, you're not good enough, or what are you, an idiot? I mean, how often have we heard words and sentences like that? Heck, you see it in movies every single day. But I'm here to tell you, and the center is here to show you, that's not the truth of who you are. And when you can forgive yourself for believing those beliefs about, those limiting beliefs about yourself, you can then forgive those who actually gave you that idea, knowing that they are only doing the best that they can. And so are you. And so that's part of how we got together today, is that there's a divine urge, a divine expansion upon itself. The universe wants to express greater and greater upon itself by means of you and I. And that has allowed this day, this interactive session to unfold. So, as you start to understand that people are only doing the best that they can, it gives you permission to release control over what you think they should be or shouldn't be doing. Because don't you think you have enough of that to worry about with yourself? I mean, you've got so much to do about yourself and work upon yourself. How do you have time to be worried about what other people are doing or not doing according to your divine plan? So just allow people to live at their pace. And if people are in your life that encourage you and uplift you, fine, hold on to them. Let them know how you feel. Let them know that you appreciate them. But on the flip side of that coin, those people who don't necessarily have what you think is your best interest, who uplift you, encourage you, maybe it's time to close the chapter on that book. Just saying. So what I want to say is this. You are the only one who can control your thoughts. Yes, it is true that part of your thought patterns were created by beliefs that you have about yourself. But I've just told you and showed you that those beliefs aren't necessarily true. You find out what your truths are by looking inward, by quieting the mind, like we talked about, and allow the universal energy to come in within your consciousness and allow it to expand and open your heart. And when you can do that, it opens up avenues of creativity. And what I'd like for you to do now is, if you could, type in the comment section, what is it that you do for your creativity? Is it painting? Is it walking? Or is it knitting? I'd like to know, what is it that you do that fulfills that creative urge within yourself? And as you do that, let me tell you that one of the ways that I find my passion and my creativity is through riding my motorcycle. It has multifacets for me. It allows me to, gives me the quiet time that I need, even though it's loud, but it's all right because I'm only focused on one thing and just allow my mind to be calm. But it also is my creativity side, that I can paint, adorn, I can create my motorbike to be anything that I want to. And that's my creative expression. And the beauty of that is that within your own life, your car, your house, your decor, those are extensions of yourself. And when you can look at your house and see your furnishings and see your special touch, that again is a place where you can create and feel connected, knowing that you are true and authentic to yourself, that this is me, this is who I am. And when you can come from that point, again, it allows love within your heart to expand. You can love those around you, not from a standpoint of trying to fix them, but seeing them in a true light of their own spiritual journey. And when you can do that, at least I know for me, not only do I appreciate where I think that they are on their spiritual journey, but it gives me insight to my own. And when I can look and view my fellow friends and people around me with love and compassion in my heart, it makes me want to do better. And maybe that's what spirituality is about. Maybe it's about bettering yourself. I like that idea. And when you want to better yourself, it's what activities do you do to help you with that? And that's, again, where the creativity side of your life happens. As you find peace and happiness within yourself, you more often than not will see that same peace and joy and love in others. And in doing that, now there is a consciousness that is created in a small group. And as that group grows and grows and grows, there is a spiritual change. There is a balancing point where life and passion were at one side. And as we raise our consciousness together, there becomes a tipping point to where it all flows together and becomes one thing. And when that tipping point can happen in your life, look out. You will have passion in every aspect of your life. Whether you're walking your dog, whether you're doing your dishes, or whether you're paying your taxes. There is a connection and a oneness and a realization that spirit is unfolding perfectly, and it is happening by means of you. When you can come from that standpoint, one of the biggest things, the most powerful feelings that you can have is gratitude. Now you may be asking, what does that have to do with spirituality? How can I be grateful for my past life if it's something less than? Well, it all depends upon how you look at it. Sure, if you've had a hard life, one that you wouldn't wish upon anyone else, how you find gratitude is the fact that you recognize what that life was and that you would not be part of creating that same type of life that you have had into somebody else. It is that knowledge and understanding the connection that we have with one another, that the power that you have, that you can stop it right there. Yes, your life may have been less than up to this point, but it is at this point, right now, with your spiritual conviction, with the idea, with the question being asked, what is mine to do? It is when you realize that you are always the action of spirit, and it is unfolding perfectly, that it opens up the avenues to an unlimited possibilities. And so, yes, your previous life up to this point may have been less than, but with gratitude and understanding and knowing and realizing that that life is less than, now you can expand to something greater. And when you do that, and when you raise your consciousness, everyone around you automatically feels that energy. You know, in science, they talk about gravity and how the planets and how the universe acts upon itself. And it's all right to talk about when we're talking a few hundred feet or a few inches away from one thing to another thing. But when we start talking about planetary size and the planets, and not only planets, but separate galaxies are interacting when they're several thousand light years apart from each other, and yet they still interact, how can you not realize that there is one thing happening, and that is the consciousness of spirit, God, again, whatever you want to call it. There is divine order in this life, that one life, and it is acted upon by means of you and I. And so when you can come and realize the importance of your life and realize that it went from what you thought was something small to something grandiose and something big, that you turn being selfishness into selflessness. You know, one of the things I love to do is at the turn of a dime, I could be having a funky day and be in a funky mood for whatever reason. No matter how spiritual you get, you will always have funky days, but that's okay. because you learn from those. But I could be at the grocery store and see somebody in a funky mood, and instantaneously there is a compassion, a divine urge to see what's going on. How can I be of service? That's a beautiful thing. And so I encourage you to have that same idea, that when you see life unfolding around you that may be something less than, maybe step in and lend that hand. It's these small pebbles of friendship that we throw into the pond of our life that creates ripples upon which we'll never know has changed in other people's lives. And that's something beautiful. That is something that keeps me going. To understand that something that may be small and mundane to me may be something grandiose to somebody else. And the beautiful part about it is, I don't even realize it. That makes me really think. And that's part of what being spiritual is about. Again, it's being selfless. It's opening yourself up to something other than yourself. Yes, being spiritual is an inside job. But it's an inside job because this is what needs to be fixed first. And when you understand the false beliefs that were created in your mind about who and what you are, and when you can change those beliefs, it opens up your heart and that compassion for others. So, as we bring this talk to a close, I'd like to know if anything that I've said has resonated with you. Give me a big thumbs up, a big yes, or a big amen. I'd like to see that interaction. But I'd like to say that as you give, you receive. If you've noticed, that has been an underlying theme about spirituality. True, it is an inside job. But once you understand that that inside job changes who you are, you give of yourself without even being asked. And when you do that, you will find that when you become of service, or you help that somebody on the side of the road. Just the other day, we were driving through Painted Canyon, which is a canyon back on the east side of Coachella Valley, which has beautiful canyons. And if you ever saw Star Trek, that opening scene where, I forgot what it was, but anyway, there was some mountain ranges and stuff like that. That's exactly where this was shot. But when you can realize that and open your mind and your heart to that, you will find that when you receive, it is a precious gift. And so today, I want to give special thanks to Swing Point Media for creating this space, and creating this space every single day. What they have done for this center, for us to be able to be connected to you, our viewers, not only on our website at cslpalmdesert.org, but also every single thing that we've done is being archived on YouTube, which you can find at Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert, and you will find our webpage. And at any time, you can refer back to this and many more videos to help you on your spiritual path. I would also encourage you that if you are viewing this and watching this via YouTube, that please click on the link below or to the side and subscribe. And so that every time that we at the center are putting out our daily content, you get a notification and click on that bell so you get that nice little chime that lets you know that we are having another gift that we're giving to you. Also this, we believe in the flow and the circulation of life. Whether it's intellectual or whether it's monetary, we give as we receive. And so I'd like to invite you, and if you'd like, please donate to us at our website at cslpalmdesert.org, or better yet, I like to phone it in. So if you call us at 760-346-4649, that's 760-346-4649, someone at the office, and possibly even myself, will answer the phone, and we would love to take whatever donations that you would feel is helping you and helping us spread this message of connectivity. In this time where there seems to be a lack of it, there is not. That through these type of web programs that we are creating, you and others are connecting. And regardless of the distance between us, just like galaxies are light years apart, we're just a few hundred feet, a few hundred miles apart, but yet there's a gravity, a connection there. And so I want you to know that there is that connection right here, that you are not alone, that we are all connected regardless of how we look, how we dress, what we sit on, what we drive. It doesn't matter. We are all one thing happening. And that is the perfect unfoldment of spirit, the universe, whatever you want to call it. It is the perfect unfoldment of life. And so I want to thank you for joining me. And I hope that whatever I've said to you today has helped you on your spiritual path and opened up the questions, the inquisitive side of yourself, to ask those questions. What is mine to do? What is this stuff? What is life? Enjoy the journey. And at any time, if you have any questions, feel free to contact us at any time. I just want to say thank you very much for your time. And again, I'd like to give everyone a special shout out and a thank you. I also want to say this before I leave, that as you go on your spiritual journey, on our website, if you click up at the banners along the top, you will find a link on learning how to pray. Dr. Joe, our senior minister, has a wonderful short 20 or 30-minute video that shows you and teaches you how to pray, to allow your thoughts lay claim to what you want to experience. So I encourage you to, again, go to our website, find the tab that says prayers and classes, and scroll down and look for learning how to pray. Thank you again so much for being here with me. I love you all, and have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye now.